baseball. Philly 8, Atlanta 2. Chris Johnson hit a 2-run homer in the second to spark the Braves offense. Alex Wood was pretty good today as he gave up only 1 run on 3 hits while striking out 8 over 6 innings. Kyle Kendrick wasn't so fortunate as he allowed 6 runs over 5. Marlon Byrd hit his 19th homer, and John Mabry Jr. added his 6th in a losing effort for the Phils. Arizona 3, Chicago 2. Jake Arrieta was pretty good again, 6 2/3, 3 earned runs, 8 Ks, but it wasn't good enough as Josh Colemanter went 7 strong for the Diamondbacks. Anthony Rizzo hit his 23rd home run in a losing effort for the Cubs. Still tied at 1, San Diego Padres, New York Mets. Despaigne went 7 2/3, a no-hit ball while giving up only 1 run to David before David Murphy broke it up with a double. Bottom of the 9, 2 on, 0 out, and the game is still tied. In the interleague play, the Yankees 3, Cincinnati 2. Jacoby Ellsbury led off the 9th with a single. Stole second, went to third on a wild pitch, and scored on an infield single by Brian McCann to beat Aroldis Chapman and the Cincinnati Reds. Rocky Kuroda was good, allowing only 1 run on 0 earned, striking out 6 over 6 2/3. Todd Frazier homered to lead the Reds, but it wasn't good enough. As we said tonight, Clayton Kershaw versus Carlos Martinez, Los Angeles Dodgers versus St. Louis Cardinals, 8 o'clock ESPN. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at My Clubhouse Show, at Spanky Catches, at Dave LaPointe, at Mr. Meatball Says on Twitter. Fellas, back to you guys.
And we are back on the Clubhouse Show. Dave LaPointe, Mike LaValliere, the Meatball, Chris Stansberry, and when I look at some of the things that have been going on this week, a lot of the predictions, Spanky, that we've talked about earlier, they're coming true. Some of the guys we predicted would be traded. I don't think it's over with. I think David Price is a done deal someplace. Maybe not to St. Louis like I predicted a couple weeks ago, but Seattle's got to be up there and running. So what do you think about some of these trades that are going on right now?
Well, people ask me all the time why I have no hair up top of my head. That's my crystal ball, man, okay? So we talked a couple shows ago. Jeff Samardzija, gone. See ya. He's packed his bags. He's in Oakland. Hamill, gone. Oakland. Michael, Houston Street. Now he's an Angel, okay? We brought up Price. Nah, I don't know if he's going to go. Yes, no. It looks like he's going to. But I also brought up the name of Ben Zobrist. And now he's getting linked. I don't know if that's an affirmative thing or if it's actually
he's actually linked in the deal with Price to go to Seattle.
Exactly. And I actually mentioned that. I mean, exactly to that team, Seattle. Now, folks, you know what? I do not have a crystal ball. My head's bald because I don't have no friggin' hair on it. Simple as that, okay? But, you know, common sense is common sense. If you pay attention to some of these things, if you know the dynamics and the inner workings of how ball clubs work, and I've really gotten a little bit closer to it as a coach for the Pirates in spring training, and being on the inside of some of their meetings in spring training, you start understanding how they're trying to build their organizations, and you're getting some understanding of, all right, here's our guys. Here are our guys that, you know what, they're probably not going to be in our future, no matter how much we love these guys, and it becomes all business. And I got to believe that that's what baseball is, and it probably always has been. But I guess I had a naive notion at some point that there was going to be some loyalty. Pointer, I played for 4 teams. I get traded by 2 of them, and I get released by 2 of them. Okay. Pointer, how many teams you play for?
Just 9.
Just only 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Our guest that's coming up at 8:30 played for 7. Thank goodness they finished their game over in Anaheim Stadium. They went extra innings because Jason Grilly is going to be visiting us. Yeah, he's played for 7 so far. He's a free agent at the end of the year. I would have to say he's going to be going on. Whenever it comes down to it, you look at these trades, and it's not like you're trading cards. It's basically you're trading product. You're trading commodities.
It is all business.
I would tend to think that if you took some high-level guys on Wall Street, traders, okay, ended up, if they knew anything about baseball, if you gave them just a number to put on this, these guys could be general managers right now. Without a doubt, in my mind, You get guys on Wall Street that could be general managers, moving guys in and out, because you know what? It is such a business. You know what? It's about being competitive. I understand that, but it's also about being competitive for a long time. And you get some of these general managers that, you know, maybe some of their hands are tied a little bit more than others, and they have to say, okay, look, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this piece right now. We might be not as good, but in 3 years we may be good. You know, they've got this little 5-year plan. I don't know who came up with it. You know who came up with it? A horseshit general manager. Okay, yeah, I need 5 years to get good.
He's the guy that had a guaranteed 5-year contract.
Yeah, well,
that's the only reason he was able to say that.
We're waiting for Theo in Chicago to, you know, make good on his 5-year. Is he on his second 5-year yet, or I'm not sure, but you know, either way.
I think the first general manager was on a 108-year contract, and he's still working on it. You know, the Cubs just keep, as we said before, though, these trades that they make don't make sense sometimes, because if you are going to rebuild, you have to have something there to rebuild upon. And if you happen to have a team good enough to get a lead, I would think you'd want to close it out.
Well,
what did they get back for Houston Street? There was 4 minor leaguers, and they said that one of them was a guy they had to get back because they were depleted, you know, in the minor league system. Well, that's not very good either.
Well, the Pirates organization, and I speak about them because I've been so close with them, you know, for so long, forever and ever. They had made the mistake of drafting number ones that were really like 3rd and 4th rounders, 5th rounders, because they know they could sign them.
And didn't have to pay the big money.
Right, and what ended up happening is their minor league organization just went to crap. I mean, you got to you know, keep bringing in those show ponies. You got to keep bringing in, you know, the guys with the unbelievable can't miss stuff. Well, we all know that that's all crap anyway.
Right.
Okay, but you've got to be able to do that, and that's where
no such thing as a can't miss prospect.
No, well, that's the thing is, you know, you're as far as when you're a prospect, you know what that means? You're a friggin' minor leaguer. Okay, you know, hey, tough shit. Okay, hey, this guy's got promise. Well, you know, I can promise too, but you know what? Promises don't buy groceries. You know, when I go to Publix, okay, hey, I promise I'll pay you. You know what they do? Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Take a hike, Spank. No. Promises, yeah, all that kind of stuff. Prospects.
I'm so proud of you. You just sound like you're from Brooklyn.
Yeah, Denise is rubbing off on me.
Absolutely, she does. Well, if you're David, you know, the shame of this is when you get a David Price, well, he's not a 10-5.
Right.
He doesn't have 10 years, and that's a shame, because if I'm David Price right now, I don't want to go to Seattle because they're not finishing in the playoffs.
Well, hey, you know what? I'm going to beg to differ with you on that one. I got to believe, okay, that Seattle has got to turn it around. But I tell you one thing, they can't hit as bad as they are right now. I mean, Hojo, their hitting coach, he's got to do something different. Okay, you know what? They got some guys up there that aren't bad. Okay, obviously their pitching is great. They have a great ballpark to pitch in. I think their defense is adequate. Good gracious, you know, hey, make some adjustments. Hey, Lloyd McClendon, if you're listening, hey, kick Hojo in the ass.
Well, how many adjustments can they make? They've got to overcome an 8-game lead against 2 pretty good teams.
Well, they do, but I believe.
I mean, maybe if they get Paxton back, that they have 5 solid, like, shutout type pitchers, then maybe they stand a chance. But the Angels have 4 shutout type pitchers, and who's in first place out there?
Oakland.
Oakland has 4 or 5 shutout pitchers. So
well, you know,
who's going to have the losing streak?
I'm still to the fact that we saw in the National League Central 3 teams made it last year, I believe. You know, it can happen again, and it may be the American League West.
Well, I mean, I think they have a chance, because I think the American League East, within the last week of the season, everybody's going to be within 5 games. Everybody in the American League East is going to have a chance of making something. So therefore, the wild cards are not coming out of the East. You got Kansas City, who has shit the bed since they were in first place for the one day against when they swept Detroit. Since that day, they've gone 9-17, and they are 1 game under 500. That is a manager's fault.
Well, you know, whatever it is, you know, let's stay with you know, the trade talks and everything. And yes, you know, we talk about, you know, Price and Zobrist because they're close. We also mentioned on previous shows the acrimony out in Los Angeles. not the Angels, the Dodgers.
Correct.
Okay, this week, or maybe it was last week, I'm not sure. Okay, who comes up? I would not be averse to being traded because I want to be an everyday
That
center
would be another
fielder.
one of our predictions.
That's Matt Kemp. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. And that's and again, if you're in a major league locker room, as much as we were, and we, not in just one locker room, we were in a number of different locker rooms.
It's not like they all acted differently.
Exactly. You get an idea of the dynamics of a team. I'm not fooled very often. And, knowing, and again, I don't know all these guys personally, but you can get a pretty good idea of where everybody is with everything, okay? And you had Crawford, you had Kemp, Ethier, Puig, Van Slyke. You got 5 pretty good outfielders right there, okay? They all can't play. There's no designated hitter, okay? 2 of them are sitting every night. So what are you going to do? And now Kemp, who's been, the top dog, he's the guy that was making the most money. Now he's gone. Yeah, hey, you know what? I want to go out of here. Well, gee whiz. Let me think. I got a pretty good team here. I get a chance to put a ring on my finger. Damn, am I not the same player that I was? No, they can't look beyond that. Okay, they can't say, look, I'm going to be the team guy. When I'm in there, I'm going to do my best. No, there's too many, too many chefs. Too many chefs in the kitchen. You got to kick a couple of them out or else the kitchen doesn't work, and that's what we're seeing. Matt Kemp is going to be moved. That's my next.
One thing I like to watch, and I know you the same way. We watch enough games together that you watch the little things that go on. In most Major League outfields, if a guy makes a catch, doesn't matter if it was a good catch, bad catch, whatever, inning ending, first out, doesn't matter. They usually look over at the fielder next to him. In the center fielder look both ways. But if the left fielder catches the ball, looks center fielder, they remind each other how many outs they are. Somebody's saying, good catch. Somebody is adjusting him defensively where he should play. I watched the Dodgers play against the Cardinals, and every catch Kemp made, he did not look towards Ethier in center field. It was just he's in his own island out there, and that's the guy you have to get rid of as soon as you get a chance. Now I'm saying Kemp with the Dodgers, you got Jimmy Rollins and the Phillies. They would both help the Mariners right now. Well, I don't know. J.J. Jones is doing a pretty good job out there for the Mariners center field. Maybe you don't want to ruin him, but they've already got they've got a guy like Kemp because they've got Cano out there. Do you think Kemp would help the Mariners?
I like Jones out in center field. I think he would. I don't think he fits in that locker room. I think that's just adding baggage. I think it's a headache. I don't think anybody in Seattle thinks, if we can get Kemp, we win this.
Where does Kemp go, though? I mean, I heard that the Mets might be interested. Wouldn't that be perfect?
Oh, geez. I mean, good gracious. I mean, what other than being in New York and, getting a chance to have his picture taken all the time.
You've got Granderson hit 210 that thinks he's being, treated harshly because he's not, hitting fourth or whatever. He's not getting the money that he thinks he could get. That 210 average, that doesn't go very far, does it?
You know what? It's a lot of right turns in that 210 average. You know what right turns are? You run to first base, you touch it, and then you take a right turn back to the friggin' dugout because you stink. That's what a 210 is. It's full of right turns. I want to have left turns. So when you hit 300, you're taking a lot of left turns.
Therefore, if I hit 105, I was making twice as many right turns as that guy hitting 210.
Well, if you had that many at bats, yes. But
the only difference is they were taking that right turn faster than me.
Well, everybody was taking whatever turn faster than me. So, hey, as long as I kept taking some left turns, of course, I was always stopping at first. Rarely did I get a chance to go from first to second. So, yeah, I get it.
All right, ladies, we are the Clubhouse Show coming to you live from Doc's Grill. Our apologies if we come in and out. We're having a little trouble with the internet here, and we're trying to do the best we can to keep us online and you interested in our show. Dave LaPointe, Mike LaValle, Chris Stansberry. We're going to take a break right now, going to Chris Stansberry, who's going to go down and run over the standings for us.
Hello? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, that's right, Verizon. Wake the fuck up.
All right, guys, let's take a look at the American League standings. We'll start in the East. The Baltimore Orioles lead the East. They're 10 games over 500. They are 7-3 in their last 10. That puts them in first place over the Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays, both 3.5 games out. The Rays are now in fourth place. They are 47-53, 8 games out of first. They have won 5 games in a row. The Red Sox actually have won 4 games in a row, and they are 8 games out as well. The Rays have them by a couple of percentage points in the East. In the American League Central, Detroit 54-41. That's good enough for first place. 5.5 games over the Cleveland Indians. In second and in third place, the Kansas City Royals 48-49, 7 games back. The White Sox next at 9 back, and then the Minnesota Twins lost 3 in a row. They are in last place, 11 games out of first. Out in the West, the Oakland Athletics still lead that division. They are a game and a half up on the Angels, who are red hot. They are 8-2 in their last 10, but they still a game and a half behind the Oakland Athletics, 60-37 as we speak. Seattle in third place, 8 games out, 52-45. Next, Houston Astros. They're 17 games under 500, 20 games out, but they are ahead of the worst team in baseball, the Texas Rangers, 39-59, 21.5 out. They have lost 2 in a row and 9 out of their last 10. Not good for Texas. In the National League, the East, the Washington Nationals and the Atlanta Braves are tied. 7.5 back in third place, the New York Mets. Miami Marlins have 3-7 in their last 10, not too great, so they are 8.5 back. Philadelphia in last place, 11 games out in the East. In the Central, the Cardinals have a half-game lead over Milwaukee. They play tonight. Pittsburgh in third, 2 games out. Cincinnati, 3 games out. And the Chicago Cubs in last place, lost 4 games in a row, and 8 of their last 10. They are 13 games out of first place. And then out west, the San Francisco Giants have regained the lead in that division. They are a half game up on the Dodgers. The Dodgers lost 2 in a row, 6 out of their last 10. San Diego in third, 11.5 out. Arizona, 12 out. And in last place, worst record in the National League, lost 5 games in a row and 7 out of their last 10, the Colorado Rockies. As always, like I said on Twitter, you can follow us at My Clubhouse Show, at Spanky Catches, at Dave LaPointe, at Mr. Meatball Says. Guys, you guys got to listen this up. You got to write it down because these predictions are accurate. They're right on the money. You're not going to find any more honest baseball than you're finding right here, right now. So, somebody pick it up. Back to you guys.
We are the Clubhouse Show, and that was the Meatball. Meatball, you've had a picture keep showing up on the internet this week that I think is a classic. I think there should be a poster made of it. It is the best picture I have ever seen in my life.
Yes, it's not one of my most flattering moments. I got one of those shirts on for some reason. I decided I think I wore a small that day, and I am at least a double X.
A medium?
That's medium, and I think I told your wife it looks like a sausage casing when I wear it. I got about 13 chins, and my eyes are pretty much closed. But as I can tell you that I wasn't as drunk as I look like in the picture, but I had a couple of cocktails, and it is what it is. That was 6 years ago. I am in no way, shape, or form that bad anymore.
When you hit that
bad or big?
No, I'm as big.
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, Meatball, how many of them $11 drafts did you sell this week, you bastard?
I didn't. It was the All-Star break, so
okay.
I didn't have to rip anybody off this week.
Yeah, you get your jollies doing that, don't you, you prick?
No, I don't. I feel bad, and if I could give you everything in the building, Spank, I would totally do that just because you've earned it somehow.
Well, folks, do yourself a favor. Go to my Facebook page and check out one of the latest posts, and you'll see this picture we're talking about. Because I think when you do hit that ball out of Yankee Stadium, that's what you're going to look like about an hour later.
Yeah, I will, and and if nothing else, I will have the torque from the weight with all the chins that will help me get around on the fastball.
What's up with all the beads? What are those things hanging around your neck?
It was a Gasparilla party.
A Gasparilla.
In February 2008, that picture was taken by our good friend Scotty, and he'd like to put it on Facebook. And I got some other people that think it's fun to reminisce about this picture about once every 6 weeks, so it won't die.
Now, Gasparilla is the local, the Tampa amateur day of drinking.
Yes.
It's kind of like St. Patty's Day and New Year's.
It's a poor man's Mardi Gras, yes.
They put like porta potties in people's yards during that, don't they?
Yeah, and I might as well have been a porta potty because I was a piece of shit that day.
I think you're very attractive in the picture, and I think we need more people like you on this earth.
Well, you know what? If I can do that and provide some sort of entertainment for your wife, I know she wants to put a picture in the house of it so she can just keep laughing her ass off every time she sees it.
Hey, I had a couple things that annoyed me during the week, and I'm sure it annoyed you, Spanky, but I'm afraid right now to annoy you anymore because if we ever were going to have Verizon as a sponsor, that just flew out the window. So we're not going to worry about that right now. But Anthony Rondon of the Washington Nationals does not like to watch baseball, says it's boring. Could not watch the game during the All-Star break, and glad he didn't make the team, so he went to his bed, didn't watch anything, cannot watch baseball. Now, I know it may be boring at times, but as I always thought, that's my profession. It's like reading. I'm going to watch as much as I possibly can. You're a rookie in baseball, and you're already bored with watching baseball.
Don't understand. I fully don't understand. I got to think if I'm a doctor, I'm going to be reading up on, some of the, newest techniques. If I'm a surgeon, if I'm a stockbroker, I'm gonna look and see what trends are. If I am, I don't care what I am.
Well,
you pay attention to your craft, don't you?
He says when he's not watching base, he doesn't like to watch baseball, but what he likes to watch is the History Channel.
The History Channel.
The History Channel.
Okay, yeah, my son likes the History Channel, and he doesn't like baseball too, but he's not getting paid to play it.
What might be more exciting to watch, a recap of the Civil War or maybe a live baseball game? Let me look at this a little bit. I'm going to get back to you on this, but if I'm a baseball player, if I'm a professional baseballer, if I'm a Major League Baseball player, I am not going to say the game is boring because I still have a lot to learn.
Well, you know what? Each and every time when you watch a baseball game, exactly, you learn. Whenever we were playing, what would we have, the Saturday game of the week? We didn't have to the point where you could scout teams. I mean, you had to rely on your advanced scouts out there. Some of the guys are a little better than others, and some of the guys was like, well, all right, I'm not paying attention to whatever he says, but there are times, right now, you can watch every team. I guarantee you every single clubhouse has all the games on. And there's TVs galore. There's monitors in the lockers. I mean, there's some. Are you kidding me? Would I not be wanting to just watch and learn and make myself better? Again, but that's, I think, I think there's some guys now that take a lot for granted. And there's so much out there.
Wow, was that a mistake?
Yeah, and it's simply amazing to me whenever you have all of these tools and they're not used. And again, I'm not big on gadgets. I'm not big on other stuff. But you know what? My eyes do not lie to me. Okay, I learned that a long time ago.
The red flag.
And that's just where if I see a pitcher that we're going to face, and I knew, okay, if a team was coming in and they were on the Saturday game of the week, and we saw them and we're going to face them next week. Well, hell, I wanted to see, how they were going to pitch all the hitters that were similar to me. Left-handed hitters, not a whole lot of power. I want to see how they were going to, pitch them. And you know what? Then I'd go ahead with my own experience against that guy, and I'd have my game plan already set.
Well, and you guys, it sounds like you guys it's a disappointment thing with, that you guys play the game. But as a fan, this fucking pisses me off. Because a guy like me who has no ability whatsoever, who would give their right nut to play.
Can we vote on that? Does the meatball have any ability whatsoever? All in favor, say no.
No. Hey.
But
he pours a nice draft beer. He really does. He pours a nice draft beer.
That pisses me off because there's guys out there that would kill, the career minor league guys that would kill just to get that one shot. And you've got a guy that's sitting up there that's a rookie that, hell, he almost made the All-Star team. And you know what? Fuck you. I'm not going to pay to watch you play then. If you don't give a shit enough to watch it, to deal with it and get better at your craft, why the fuck should we have to pay $50 to come watch you play?
Well, now there's a devil's advocate out there. Now I watched the interview of both Adam Wainwright and the King, Felix Hernandez, and Felix said he did not go over one piece of tape whatsoever. He was going to go on his past experience of facing the guys. Wainwright said he stayed up till midnight watching tape of every batter. He watched tape of all 9 guys, even knowing he was only going to pitch 1 or maybe 2 innings. But he watched tape of everybody.
Yeah, and I was there, and King Felix, somehow his gut was better because he got through the first inning, and Wainwright gave up the bomb to Cabrera and the double and the triple and stuff like that. But just as a fan and as someone that I know it's the same old bullshit line. Oh, we pay your salary, but no, show a little pride in what you do. I would never come out and say, hey, I fucking hate it when my customers come into the bar and I have to pour them a beer.
How about this? Rendon, don't say anything.
Exactly.
Adam Wainwright, don't say anything. Don't say you're going to groove the pitches to Derek Jeter. Don't say anything. Why do you have to say anything?
Yeah,
Why do you feel you have to say it out loud?
Yeah, I don't get the saying it and sharing with everybody. But, if I'm Adam Wainwright, so what? You know what? How many fastballs down the middle that I've seen, okay, that didn't get hit out of the ballpark, that got popped up, they got swung and missed, that got taken. I mean, it's not a given.
If it was that easy, everybody hit 1,000 in batting practice.
Well, and that's the whole thing is just, you got a guy that's throwing 90 plus miles an hour, and I don't care. You're going to throw it down the middle if you could every single time. He may have tried to groove it, and he may end up throwing it knee high on the outside corner.
He tried to groove the first one and went in the dirt.
Yeah, it just guess what? Get off his ass. Okay, you know what? There's two guys out there. You know what? One is, and to me, he wasn't giving ground right there. He's saying, "Look, here's my fastball. If you can hit it, hit it."
And that's what Jeter said too.
And that's just
as simple
Jeter,
as that. If he's just laying a fastball in there and Jeter just barely kept it fair down the right field line, it doesn't make Jeter feel very good either.
Well, guess what? You're talking about my future fantasy shortstop now, so let's build him up a little bit more. I just picked him up today because I know Tulo's going to be on the DL. Okay, all my guys in my league don't listen to that shit. Okay, he's up for trade. He's as good as he's ever been. He's going to have a huge second half. But I just picked up Jeter. So
now this is Spanky's what?
Huh?
The Spanksters? What?
No, Spankers, Crankers.
Spankers, Crankers.
Yeah.
But, and the funny thing, when Jeter came on the thing and he said, yeah, if Wainwright grooved, he goes, the first one was a two-seamer low and away, about 96. The second was a four-seamer on the outside corner, about 98 miles an hour. Like, if he grooved it, then I'm pretty damn proud of myself that I kept that ball fair. So it's, even you could throw it right down the middle, you still got to hit it.
Well, if that pissed you off to a minute scale of what went on this week, Colby Lewis pitching against the Toronto Blue Jays. Colby Lewis of the Texas Rangers pitched against Colby Rasmus. There's too many Colbys and Cobys running around in this conversation. Got mad because there was 2 outs, and they had a shift on Rasmus, and Rasmus decided to bunt against the shift, which I don't think it's a bad idea either. He's going to get on base. He's a guy that can steal bases. He can score from first on a double. Colby Lewis just read him the riot act on the field in the paper. When it's all done, whose side are you going to take on that one?
Okay, you know me and how much I like the pitcher-catcher thing, and
I'm not sure
how
like anything right now.
how I really stand up for my pitchers. Okay.
Yes.
Here, listen. Colby Lewis, read my blog. Okay, there's some unwritten rules in that, okay? And you have got this so friggin' wrong. You are a jackass. I mean, a complete jackwagon jackass. You has just stuffed both feet in that big fat trap of yours, okay? At no way, shape, or form can you ever think that that's a bad play. Oh, my God. Colby Rasmus, number one, he ain't the brightest bulb, okay? He's not the greatest, but you know what? Guess what? Yeah. If you want to shift, okay, look, I'm going to kill you. You kill my dog, I'm going to kill your cat. Okay? Here, you want to shift? Good. I'm going to take the bunt, and I'm going to bunt it. You don't like it? Put the shift back, you jackass. And then he has the balls, okay, to say, okay, he didn't steal in one of the first 2 pitches, so he's selfish. All right, Colby Lewis, who's selfish now? What, your whip go over 1.5, you jackass? You stupid prick?
How about Colby Lewis now? If you're going to tell me, we know what type of pitcher Colby Lewis is. He's a nibbler. He's got 6 different variations of an 0-2 curveball that he can throw. Are you sure Colby Lewis in his lifetime has not thrown a 2-0 changeup in his life?
Oh yeah, no, but it's only fair if he says it's fair.
Oh,
this is this.
So we're
this
playing
is what,
by the Colby Lewis rules.
He's obviously made up his own rules, and I tell you this, okay. Every time, and if you're going to shift on me, you know what? Hey, I'm going to bunt on you every chance I get until you stop. All right, how stupid is it, okay, to just keep hitting into the shift, okay? Now, if I'm Ted Williams, he did it.
I sure wish you were.
Well, yeah, no kidding, huh? Yeah, and my managers and all my teammates wish I was Ted Williams, okay? I wish they shifted like that. If they shifted the way they do with all the other left-handers, okay, I would have hit 600. Because I didn't ever pull the ball to the right of second base. Okay, so yeah, it would have been easy.
Hey, Colby Lewis, if you're that good of a pitcher like you think you are, if he's got that shift, you don't throw him that pitch that he can bunt in that direction.
Well, it just to me, this right here is just so absolutely blown out of proportion. It doesn't even need to get the press, but I'm glad it did because, it got me back in a good frame of mind to where, there's just so many assholes that are playing right now that don't have a fucking clue. Excuse my language, okay? But they don't have a clue on how to. They don't have a clue on how to play the game. Okay, Colby Lewis, how's your season going so far? Okay, guess what? I would have to think if the Texas Rangers all of a sudden traded your dusty ass for Colby Rasmus, you know what? Your teammates would probably be all clapping.
Were we just praising God a couple years ago that he made it back from Japan and he had the injury and he was pitching in the playoffs and now he's bitching like a little thing like that? You know what? Remember where you were, okay? Don't forget what it took to get here.
What you guys haven't mentioned is that he's saying that it's out of question because it's 2 outs. The game was 2-0. It's not like it's 12-0. This game is 2-0, and he's bunting. What's the problem with that?
Hey, pal, we got to learn the Colby Lewis rules, or we ain't shit.
Exactly, I guess.
The clubhouseshow.com. Okay, we got blogs. Okay, on there is my unwritten rules, and you know what? I'm still working on it. But I've got some of those in there, and at no time does it say no bunting in the 5th inning, unless, maybe it's a no-hitter.
16-0 game.
Yeah, but if you're way up, you don't bunt.
Maybe we got maybe we got to add to the blog so he understands.
But at no point at all, okay, does Colby Lewis is ever in the right here. If I'm Ron Washington, I'm going to call him in the office and just say, look, try to get somebody out, okay, and let's see if we have a 2-0 lead. By the way, we're in last place. Okay, why don't you get people out and then you can go ahead and say something? But you're way out of line.
The Houston Astros, Mom. I'm coming home. All right, we are the Clubhouse Show and coming to you live from Doc's Grill. We are going to take a break right now. Send it over to the Meatball. He's going to talk about the statistical part of the game and our league leaders. Meatball, bring it on, brother.
All right, fellas. Colby Lewis is nowhere on my list, just so you know. In the American League, your average leaders, we're going to start with Adrian Beltre, Robinson Cano, and Jose Altuve. They are all leading the league at .335. Jose Abreu leads in home runs at 29. Nelson Cruz with 28. Edwin Encarnacion at 26, although he's on the disabled list. Your RBI leaders in the American League, Miguel Cabrera with 75, Nelson Cruz with 74, and Mike Trout today coming in with 74. Jose Abreu has 73. Your wins leader in the American League, Masahiro Tanaka and Rick Porcello, they have 12. Tanaka won't be there for long. He's going to be out for a while. King Felix, Max Scherzer, and should have been an all-star Garrett Richards. They're all tied with 11. Your ERA leaders in the American League, King Felix with 2.02. He has 12 straight starts with 7 innings pitched and 2 runs or less. The first time since 1907 such a streak has occurred in the MLB. Pretty darn good right now is a stretch that we're seeing for King Felix. Scott Kazmir, 2.38. And second, Garrett Richards, 2.47. Your AL save leader, Fernando Rodney, is 27, although he blew one today against the Angels. Greg Holland has 25. Your team average leader in the American League, the Detroit Tigers, are hitting 283. Your team runs leader, the Angels, have 483. Your home run leaders is the Baltimore Orioles at 119. ERA leading the American League, Seattle, has a 3.10, and they have the best batting average against at 225. Your strikeout leader, still the Tampa Bay Rays at 861. Over in the National League, Troy Tulowitzki still leading at 340. Matt Adams in second with 324. Andrew McCutchen and Casey McGee at 320 in third. The NL home run leader, Giancarlo Stanton, has 23. Tied with Anthony Rizzo after today. They both have 23. Tulowitzki has 19, although he's been out for a couple of games with a sore leg or something like that. Your RBI leaders, Giancarlo Stanton and Paul Goldschmidt, have 65. Andrew McCutchen has 61. NL wins, Wainwright and Alfredo Simon are tied with 12. Madison Bumgarner, Zach Greinke, and Lance Lynn have 11. Your NL ERA leader, Adam Wainwright, 1.83. Johnny Cueto, 2.13. And Josh Beckett just went on the disabled list, but he has 2.26 in third place. Your National League save leader, Craig Kimbrell and Trevor Rosenthal, has 30. Your NL team average leader, Colorado Rockies, they have 280 batting average. They have 461 runs and 113 home runs to lead the way, but they have the worst record in the National League. Your team ERA leader, the Washington Nationals, 3.09. Your NL strikeout leader, the Los Angeles Dodgers, have 832. And the batting average against leader, the Cincinnati Reds, 234. Send us your questions, your comments, your concerns. We'd love to hear from you, your feedback at My Clubhouse Show, at Spanky Catches, at Dave LaPointe, at Mr. Meatball Says. please, please, please hit us up, hit us up, hit us up. We would love to answer your questions live on air. Fellas, that's what I got. What you got?
We got a bunch of stuff, Meatball. Welcome back to the Clubhouse Show. Dave LaPointe, Mike LaValliere, Chris Stansberry, the Meatball. We got Fernando. We got Julio, who has been all week restoring the Canary. We have a 1958-56 Porsche that we have shipped over from Puerto Rico, and we are restoring it. And these guys have grease every place. They're trying to fix it, but you want to tell you, there is no better mechanics in the whole world that know how to fix things. Speaking of fixing things, the Houston Astros have done a pretty good job of messing up the first-year player draft, as it is known. And it seems to me that the Astros were at a bit of a disadvantage because it is against the rules to give a player a physical before you draft him. I think that rule is going to be changed after what happened this year. Spanky, I'm going to throw this over to you. They ended up not signing 3 other draft picks. Is that good for the Astros? Is it good for baseball?
Well, and this question comes from David Bay, who one of our frequent listeners. He went ahead and asked me on Facebook, how about Houston Astros debacle with their number 1 draft pick and issues? And, I'm going to defer this. The Meatball's pretty much, our guru as far as the minor leaguers and all that kind of stuff. And I tell you, in short, from me, you know what? This is horrible for baseball. This is horrible for the Astros. I mean, you got a young club as it is. You've got an organization that is that hasn't been doing very much, since the Biggio and Bagwell days, and that kind of deal. And here you got a chance. You get some good young players there, but you just can't whiff it on your number 1. Meatball, bring us up to date on all this.
Well, obviously, the first overall pick this year was high school pitcher Brady Aiken. He had until Friday to sign with the Houston Astros. There are now all these rules now with the top 10 picks in baseball where you only have a certain amount of money. Everything is allotted a specific spot, and if you don't fit into that spot, you can be penalized, both money and even draft picks. Now, as we said, there is no physical that is allowed on a player, so you pretty much have to take their doctor's word for everything. The Astros doctors found him to have a shorter than normal UCL in his pitching elbow, which caused their concern. Now, what that means is that you're pretty much going to guarantee Tommy John surgery with the shorter UCL.
We're talking an R.A. Dickey type of injury.
Yes.
Missing a bone or something completely.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying that his UCL is just shorter than the average UCL, which means that it's taking more stress, and it cannot hold up to the rigors of probably pitching in the major leagues. Now, Aiken had already verbally agreed to a $6.5 million bonus before this was found. Per team rules, they can't give the physical, and the Astros tried to pull this offer back after hearing it, and they tried to lower it to around a $5 million thing. They said, hey, it's more of a risk. We don't want to take it. Well, Aiken and his agent refused. They want their original deal that they agreed on. Now, here's the kicker. The Astros had already had a verbal deal done with their 5th-round pick, Jacob Nix. Jacob Nix is another player, high school player, that would have been in the first couple rounds that had a really strong commitment to go to UCLA. Way, way over slot. Now, they only had $7.9 million left over to use on both of those players. Well, once you don't get the deal done with Brady Aiken, you forfeit the entire $7.9 million that is remaining. Therefore, they can't sign Nix to the original agreed offer that they would have been over budget. They'd have been penalized 2 first-round draft picks if they picked this guy. So now you got this other kid who basically got screwed because the Astros fucked up. And he's not going to get to sign. They had the deal worked out. It was a pretty much done deal except for writing it on the paper. Now there's a lawsuit that's going to go out, possible lawsuit looking for this. Now, the only other thing is the Astros, out of this, will get the 2nd overall pick in next year's draft because they offered him somewhere, I think it was 40% of what the allotted slot is. If you offer him that, you are guaranteed to get the pick back for next year.
Does it say who his agent is, who Aiken's agent is?
It is, and I can't remember his name. Close, is that his last name? It's
Casey Close.
Casey Close.
Casey Close represents all 3 of them, right?
And Derek Jeter as well. It's Derek Jeter's agent, yes. So they're going to get a 2nd overall pick. Now, the funny thing is the Astros this year they have a lot of talent, and they've got a lot of prospects coming up. But like we said, prospect means you're still in the minor leagues. But they had a leak in their intelligence from last year, if you guys remember that, with communication between the GM and scouts about every trade that they had talked about within the office. Anything on that email got leaked to the public. The network that carries all the Astro games cannot be seen by a lot of the market in Houston. I think they're only in 60% of homes.
But I think they've gotten that straightened out.
Okay, but this was still an issue all year, and they've had service time issues with their prospect. Not much to show. They have a 51-win season last year, and they completely have shit the bed this year on all of these logistical issues.
All right, I'm going to go bad cop again on this. Now, if you're Aiken, and now all of America, all of the baseball world knows that you have this problem with your UCL, how much do you think you're going to get? I would have signed that bonus. And, and they say in baseball, Chris, when you're drafted, when you get signed, if that's where you plan on making your money, you're in a lot of trouble. You're going to make your money by playing 10 years in the major leagues and being in that average salary where you're making $3, $4, $5, $8 million a year. This kid should have signed that contract as soon as he possibly could because he can still do the lawsuit, but who's going to take him?
Well, and it's obviously it's not, and we're not talking that he was $6.5 million, and then we're saying, hey, screw you, we're giving you nothing. They offered him $5 million.
I'm a high school kid. They offered me $5 million.
Okay.
Hey, boss. I'm gonna sign for $5 million. How stupid! I mean, Casey Close is a great agent. He represents one of our friends, L.J. Mazzilli, Lee Mazzilli's son, and he's done a great job. And I played against Casey Close. He's a great guy. He's a great individual. He means a lot to baseball right now. He represents the greatest guy in the history of baseball. I think he should have signed a contract.
Without a doubt.
And he's taking money out of his other guys' clients' pockets too.
And he represents Knicks too.
I put the money in the bank. Yeah, I get. I know you get asked to. I mean, there's we deal with a lot of high school, college kids. They're always, I always get asked, what do you think I should do? And I says, here's the deal, okay? Put the money in the bank, okay? Go try, go play. Guess what? If it doesn't work out, okay, you get the money in the bank, you go to college.
You can always go to college.
Right. And there's
no age restrictions on college.
Last time I looked, I don't know, Faber College. I'm looking at Faber College. That would be the famous.
Absolutely, Animal House.
Yeah, Animal
Dean
House.
Wormer, good friend of mine.
Yeah, 7 years of college down the drain.
Big fan.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's to the point where, if this is your dream, okay, and you're 18 years old, are you willing, okay, to go ahead and go red black on the roulette table? Are you willing to say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to sign right now for $5 or $6 million because I think I can get more when I'm 21. So are you willing to put $5 million on the table red black? Because now in those 3 years, now I blow out whatever, an ACL, an MCL.
What's the max he's going to get? The max he's going to get is 8?
Something's going to happen where, I'm not ever willing to do that. And that's where, my argument is, you know what, put it in the bank, okay? Whenever you get to the big leagues, yeah, that's where the money is. Hey, I get offered $1,000 to sign. 1,000.
Did you take it in 5s?
I held out. I screwed the Phillies and got 3,000 from them. Okay. Oh yeah.
Did you take it in 5s?
At that time, no. I was a big spender. I wanted 10s. But
you know what? Back then, though, strippers might have taken 1s, so we might have been good back then.
Back then, I didn't even know what that was. So but you know what? But that's that was my dream as a kid. I was offered a chance. I wasn't drafted. I couldn't sign it fast enough. Really, I thought that I had King Kong balls by turning down $1,000. After I said no to the scout, I'm sitting there in this Chinese restaurant off of Route 6 in the Cape, right in, I think in Dennis, in Massachusetts, the Cape Cod Lake. Okay, and the scout sees me the night before. I go 4 for 6, homer, 2 doubles, blah blah blah. Coach or the scout comes up and says, "Hey, look, I'm gonna watch you again tomorrow." I said, "Okay." The next day, I go 4 for 4. I'm playing third base. I make a couple of nice plays. He decides, all right, look, we want to sign you. Can I take you? And I lived in a little bungalow with 2 other guys, and there was a Chinese restaurant right across the parking lot. That's where we went to negotiate. Okay, so I'm sitting there, okay, and he offers me $1,000. I say no. And this is before agents. I mean, you're talking about a 20-year-old knucklehead, okay, and I say no, and then I'm thinking, how stupid are you? Okay, who do you think he's going to all of a sudden say, okay, we'll give you $2 million? What the hell? Here I am gambling. I would never be on this show if the guy says, you know what? There's a lot of guys better than you. Hey, take your fat little ass and get the fuck out of here. Okay, but no, thank God. He goes, well, what's it going to take? And I said, 3. Smooth operator, right? Hey, if there's anybody needs an agent out there, I'm not your guy. Okay, so I signed for 3, but eventually, yeah, you know what? You're not going to make any money through the minor leagues.
How many times did you say, I should have said 10?
None. I was so happy that he said yes to 3. I completely blocked it out of my mind.
Well, I was a 10th round pick from the Milwaukee Brewers in 1977, and I signed for $5,000.
Nice.
And it was the same exact thing.
I should have been your agent.
You should say no. You should get more money. And I'm going, I got to sign this contract. I got to start playing baseball. And that's all that was on my mind, and in what you've put into it. Now you look back, the workouts, the training, everything. We don't do what kids do nowadays with a travel ball, all that stuff. But, I'm one of the weird guys. I watched Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 today, killing some time for it. I cried after both of them.
Of course.
Does anybody else cry after Rocky?
Oh, of course. During, after.
I
you
felt
kidding
that
me?
adrenaline surge after those fights, like when you first got told you were going to make the major leagues. How about that? Is there an adrenaline surge on that thing?
Oh,
you hang up and you go, what did he just say? I'm going where tomorrow?
Yeah, going like that. When I found out that I was going to go to the big leagues, I started the year 1984 as the backup catcher in Reading, Pennsylvania for the Phillies. Okay, a couple guys get hurt. Only about 12 or 13 guys get hurt. Catchers in front of me. I think I was number 7 or 8 on the depth chart in spring training. When they were going through their things.
You're only a couple bicycle wrecks away from getting there.
Yeah, I was going to say plane. Two flights I had to go, but anyway. So Lee Ely is our manager in Portland. Okay. And I get called up to Portland, and he says, look, and back then my nickname was Doggy. He said, Doggy, you've never had a chance to play every day. I'm going to play you every day. And I says, well, hey, Lee, thanks. This is awesome. I had never played for him. I met him briefly in spring training, but, and I said, oh, this is great. And he goes, I don't give a shit what Philadelphia has to say. The brass, they said that you can't. You know what? I'm giving you a chance right here. Well, I ended up where, timing was good, and, I ended up making it. But, I mean, it was getting to the big leagues. But he called me in that office, and literally I had to duck to get out of his office. I was that high. I mean, I've never had to duck for nothing. I'm 5'2". Okay, I've never had to duck for nothing. Okay, and
you've never been over in a limbo competition.
Yeah. Excuse me, limbo competition. Hey, right now the only thing that's killing me in limbo is my boiler. Okay?
Whoa, hey.
So, but yeah.
Are you taller when you're standing or laying?
Right now, it's getting close. It's getting real close. But yeah, when you find out, that you're gonna get your shot in the big leagues. I mean, how about the first time you walk into a big league locker room? I mean, I remember the first time I did, and it was just like, oh my God.
You always revert back to Bull Durham. They have white balls to take batting practice. and you know what? That is such a true statement that it's unbelievable. They get brand new balls every day to take batting practice. And it's the truth.
Have I told you about Steve Carlton? With the story about that?
No.
Okay, so Steve Carlton.
Wait. We have to go to a break right now.
Okay.
Let's go to that as soon as we get back from the break.
Gotcha.
You're listening to the Clubhouse Show. Live from Doc's Grill here at Summerfield Crossings Golf Course. We're going to go to the Meatball right now. He's going to give us our favorite thing of the week, the injury report, and I'm sure Troy Tulowitzki is number 1 on that list, and he's going to take it away right now. We'll get back to that story from Spanky in a second. You're listening to the Clubhouse Show. Chris Stansbury, take it away.
Oh, no, Tulo's not really hurt.
Yeah, Tulo has a little bit of a banged up, but just for the Spankers Crankers point of view, he's not hurt. He's available. I will say for anybody that's listening, I did not get offered $1,000 to play in the big leagues, so I would have not turned it down. But let's go ahead. Let's take a look around the major leagues. The DL stints for the guys. Edwin Encarnacion went on with a quad injury. Texas pitcher Nick Martinez strained his back muscle. He's going to come right back. That's the beauty of having the All-Star break. These guys go in the DL. They miss about a week and a half and actually miss only about 5 games. Ricky Nolasco, the Twins, has an elbow strain. He's on the DL. Josh Beckett has a left hip impingement. He'll be back Tuesday to start for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Justin Masterson has a sore right knee. Joey Votto, a quad injury. Garrett Cole, right back on the disabled list, got a strained lat in his right shoulder. Masahiro Tanaka, partially torn ligament in his elbow. Not going to do the surgery. Going to try to rehab and see if it feels better. All-Star starter Yadier Molina sprained his thumb, out 8 to 12 weeks. Going to be a real big blow for the Cardinals. Carlos Beltran's on that 7-day concussion disabled list. Jason Vargas had an appendectomy. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. C.J. Wilson still has that sprained ankle. I don't know how much longer he's going to be out. Skip Schumacher went on the 7-day concussion. He's actually right back. He played today. Brandon Phillips sprained his thumb. They're saying 4 to 5 weeks, not as long as everyone had thought it was going to be originally. Ubaldo Jimenez, right ankle sprain. Carlos Ruiz, still battling a concussion. It's been about 3 weeks. He went on the regular disabled list after that 7-day. Alberto Callaspo, utility guy for the Oakland Athletics, has a hamstring strain. Colin McHugh has a right fingernail issue and was going to miss a couple of starts. And Colin Cowgill has a broken thumb for the Anaheim Angels. A couple of guys coming off the disabled list. Jeremy Hellickson came back. He was coming back, and then he was sent right back down just so he could get a couple of starts over the All-Star break while the Rays have a couple of days off. The way it works out, they're not going to need his arm for a couple of days. Dylan G for the Mets is back. Bud Norris did the same thing, went back down the minors to get a couple of innings. Carl Crawford came on the disabled list and created a big stir out for the Dodger land with a Matt Kemp wanting a trade. Marco Scutaro going to get his first action of the season for the Giants. Nori Aoki for the Kansas City Royals back off the disabled list. MVP candidate always every year, Carlos Gonzalez, he's back. Mark Trumbo's back for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yunel Escobar came back for the Rays. Francisco Liriano back in the rotation for the Pirates. Giovanni Soto came off the 60-day disabled list for Texas. One of their guys has been out for most of the season, if not all. Justin Turner for the Dodgers is back. Danny Santana came back for the Twins. Shane Victorino back for the Red Sox. Couple of guys, couple of news and notes. Some of the list of pointers guys that he told you that they should release. Dan Uggla finally released. He was suspended for a day, had some issues with the Braves. They finally just cut ties and said, screw it, we're not going to mess with you, Uggla. Carlos Pena was designated for assignment, sent back to the minors. John Buck, the catcher, was released. He's out. Another guy on pointers list of maybe we should just cut you. Brandon Hicks was designated for assignment when Marco Scutaro came back. Brad Mills was released by Oakland. They really didn't have a spot for him in that rotation. Toronto nabbed him up really quick, and we've already mentioned it. Houston Street traded from San Diego to the Angels in a 6-player deal involving mostly minor leaguers. That's a look around at your injuries and report and transactions for the week. Guys, let's go back to Spanky and his story.
We are back in the Clubhouse Show. Dave LaPointe, Mike LaValliere, Chris Stansberry. We've got Julio. We've got Fernando. We've got a bunch of drunks here at the bar now. We had a couple of large-breasted women walk in and add to the flavor of the show. We have one guy that throws 88, which he's a liar. We got another guy that said he drove here from St. Louis. He's a liar. But we do have one true fan that's got a Pittsburgh shirt on, and he's true blood right over there. Spanky, how many times in your life have you heard the story about I got a hit off of you in high school, or I struck you out in high school? I gave up over 200 hits my senior year in high school.
In what, 12 innings?
Well, we had 20.
Hey, wait a second. You were in Glens Falls, New York.
Glens Falls, New York.
Guess what? You can't tell me you played more than 18 games.
We played 27 that year.
27.
I was 10-1.
Wow.
And I gave up at least 200 hits.
Wow.
Because everybody that I have run into, I have given up a hit to. Remember when I was a senior, I gave up a hit to you? So this one guy is in my high school. They're doing a clinic up there. John Stuper was up there. And we're standing in the background. This guy starts talking. He goes, you have Dave LaPointe and Dave Palmer from Glens Falls High School. Well, I had the one game where I was 3 for 4 against Dave LaPointe. And we played this team. It's called Burn Hills out near Albany. And they were the #1 team in the state. We no-hit them 4 games in a row. They never got a hit off of us. And I pitched 2 of them. So this guy, you never interrupt somebody else when they're speaking at a banquet. Hey, whoa, hold on there, pal. Hey, Copernicus, take your shirt and stand in the back of line with the rest of them. I said, you got 3. I never gave up a hit against you. So are you counting that when you hit the ball, that counted as a hit, right? These people lie to make themselves feel better. I guess I've probably done the same thing in the major leagues to say I probably struck out somebody, but you had a story with Steve Carlton. It's got to be scary in itself because that guy was an enigma. He was like the jetty, he was like Sasquatch. You were afraid of him.
Well, yeah, and the thing is,
I just named 3 girlfriends and one of my friend, but let's go on.
we were talking about big leagues and getting called up to the big leagues, okay, and Lefty had this aura about him, and caught him in spring training and warmed him up actually in the bullpen. They would never let me catch him in a game.
8 sliders for every 2 fastballs.
Well, he had a little magic mixture that he put on his glove and his hands that helped his slider a little bit. But it's made a huge impression on me. Walk into the Veteran Stadium. Myself, Rick Shue, and Steve Jeltz. 3 of us get called up from AAA. I'm so ecstatic that I'm walking into a big league clubhouse. Of course, I'm doing it on crutches. I had hurt my knee 2 nights before. I'm thinking, well, they're not even going to activate me, but I'm going to do my thing and try to get ready and blah blah blah.
Walking down the limbo line.
No, actually, we got running to back up first base in Salt Lake City. Ooh. So yeah, it popped. End up tearing cartilage, but it didn't keep me out of that month. I played. Hey, it was my only chance to get those big leagues.
Right.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
Torn cartilage, it didn't make any difference.
What training room?
Right. So walk in the locker room. I'm not there 2 minutes, and here comes Lefty all the way across the locker room. Okay, and I'm like, oh shit, the hazing is about ready to start. Okay, now all right, don't be a rookie, but don't act like just a dumbass. And so he comes over and he shakes my hand and he goes, welcome to Philadelphia. And I'm trying not to oh, thank you, Mr. Carlton. Yeah, and just hey, thanks. I'm really happy to be here. And just as deadpan as possible, he goes, bullshit, you earned it. You want to talk about making an impression?
Can you say that again? Bullshit what?
Bullshit, you earned it. Wow. Right, and so you want to talk about making an impression on a young player, and I was just like, oh my God. And right there, I didn't have anything to say, and he went to the next guy, and I'm just my mind was completely blown. Well, I ended up catching him later on, in September. I didn't catch much other than the bullpen, which, thrilled to death.
It was in the big leagues.
Yeah, that big league coffee tastes a little better than that minor league
sure
coffee.
Does.
Okay, so I'm catching him, and we're facing the Mets. And Lefty's at the end of his career, and he throws a slider to John Christensen, who was with the Mets, young right-handed power hitter, and he takes him deep. So now, I'm the young catcher, catching a Hall of Famer, and I call a pitch and it's a home run. And so now I'm going back to the dugout. I'm walking back, and I'm going, oh God, yeah, I just feel it. And now Lefty goes to me and goes, yeah, right pitch all the way. It was just a horseshit location. That was the right pitch. Nice call. That's the kind of teammate that Steve Carlton was. And everybody, I don't think you had a chance to realize, don't believe everything you read in the newspapers, folks.
I don't think that stuff goes on anymore.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, I think it does with Adam Wainwright. He's about the only one that I hear talking about it. I'm guessing Greinke's probably like that. I don't think it goes on anymore.
Yeah, it just say we always talk about learning from your elders and stuff. I mean, what better 2 lessons right there? The Hall of Famer, in a situation where I'm just a kid, I'm a nobody. I'm a guy in spring training that was the bullpen catcher. Okay, I mean I was nothing more than that, and I was important enough for him to teach me those 2 lessons. I'm forever grateful.
I used to talk to guys on another team. I used to talk to umpires. I would talk to anybody I could to try and make myself better. If I needed to learn a trick, I'm going to ask questions. Speaking of Steve Carlton, speaking of the Phillies, they are one team that seems to be loaded with players that could be traded. I'm gonna give you 6 quick names. You give me where they're going.
Okay.
You can both jump in anytime you want. Do you want to scream it out? Go ahead. You're staring at me like I'm topless or something. Meatball, you kind of hungry?
Kinda.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna give this first one. Cole Hamels. Don't jump in right away.
Red
Don't
Sox.
scream it all at once. You go Red Sox. Wow.
You know, I don't think the Angels are done. I'm going Angels.
Good call. Cliff Lee.
He's got to get healthy first.
He's ready to come back. He's pitching tomorrow. Tomorrow night he's pitching. He comes back and has a good game tomorrow. Where's Cliff Lee going?
I think he stays in Philly.
Really?
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Detroit.
Detroit. That's a good call right there. I don't know this guy's first name, but I'm going to say his last name. Bastardo. Left-handed reliever. Situational guy out of the pen. Detroit needs more relief pitching than anybody in baseball.
Exactly what I was going to say, Detroit.
Oh, so we got Lee and Bastardo going to Detroit for who?
So we got a 2 for 5 trade. 5 minor leaguers, and we'll throw in a bucket of balls.
If I'm Dave Dombrowski, I'm going to look hard at that. I got to look hard at that.
Jimmy Rollins.
Columbus Clippers.
Whoa, that's kind of going downhill a little bit, don't you think? He's AAA with the Yankees,
Who
or
wants him?
Why wouldn't Seattle want him? Seattle's got a shortstop hitting 190 or something like that.
You know what?
Miller's hitting 203 in Seattle.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, they're going to get Zobrist. They're going to get a more versatile guy. They're going to get a guy that's going to be able to play shortstop for them. That's my call. I don't believe that Seattle is looking at a Jimmy Rollins.
What about
seriously.
the Los Angeles Dodgers with their shortstop in trouble now health-wise?
They've got the money to add him, and they've got the talent that probably gets him. I have a sneaky suspicion that he's with the 10-5 thing. He might just say, you know what, I'm just going to stay here.
Chase Utley.
I think he stays. I think he stays.
I agree with that. Marlon Byrd.
Seattle. I think Seattle's really looking hard at Marlon Byrd. And I think he goes out there. I think they could use
Why would Seattle be going after Marlon Byrd when they can get Matt Kemp?
Marlon Byrd is a lot cheaper.
Marlon Byrd.
And Marlon Byrd is having a better year, and Marlon Byrd isn't Matt Kemp.
And Marlon Byrd is a good teammate.
He's a great
I would take
teammate,
Marlon
exactly.
Byrd in a second over Matt Kemp. Last on the list, A.J. Burnett.
Buccos.
Back to Pittsburgh.
And they're looking at him right now.
That would be a great thing to happen.
Yeah,
I hope that happens.
They're looking at him right now.
Pirate fan in the crowd, what do you think about that? A.J. Burnett back to the Pirates? Uh-oh.
Doesn't like it. Doesn't like it.
Damn.
I think they got to get an arm, but
He just overruled a big leaguer that's very familiar with that Pirate clubhouse.
Well, no, I really think that if Pittsburgh thinks that they're going to contend, and they still, they had a nice sweep of the Rockies this past weekend, and I think that you put him in there. He's familiar with everybody. They don't have to change anything. It's a rental. It's something that they'll probably get Philly to throw in a bunch of money out of his salary. AJ, whenever he signed with Philly, it wasn't like he didn't like Pittsburgh. Yeah, it was wanted to be closer to home kind of thing.
Yeah, he basically wasn't going to play unless the right offer came around.
Right,
Pittsburgh wasn't going to give him that money.
And he was ready. He was ready to retire if it didn't come up. And he still has good enough stuff.
I think Garrett Cole needs to have AJ Burnett back
the dynamics. I was it was one of the most surprised players that I've ever been is whenever I met AJ Burnett in the clubhouse. And what he does for that team and the dynamic that he did for that pitching staff last year, they miss that. And they miss that huge. And you know what, Francisco Liriano, okay, would probably give up some of his money to get AJ back.
You know the funny thing is about that? He did the same thing for the Yankees.
Well,
when he started putting a pie in the face and it wasn't shaving cream, it was pie and whipped cream, they won.
Well, and AJ was the guy that would rally the troops in spring training. Whenever it was getting towards the end, he'd be having the fungo golf outings for the pitchers out in the outfield. He was the guy that would get together, with the guys on the road, and really the camaraderie thing. AJ Burnett was that kind of guy. Now, if they feel that he can still pitch, I think it's a perfect fit. I think he goes to the Buccos.
By the way, you've been challenged to a baseball golf tournament here at Summerfield Crossing, and they don't think you with a fungo bat could reach this 328-yard hole in 3 swings with a golf ball and a fungo bat.
Wow. 328?
328 yards from the gold tees here.
Can I pick the day and see if it's like downwind?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I got to look out my back window. We can figure that out.
All right. Okay. I might take that.
Spanky's in, boys. All right, we got a couple other names on this trade bait list, which basically between now and August 30th is when it's over. July
31st
July 31st.
for non-waiver, yeah.
We're going to have a lot of talk about this because a lot of names are going to come up, and I think there's going to be a lot of surprising trades because there's nobody that obvious right now. A.J. Burnett's one of them. You want to trade Chase Headley of the San Diego Padres, who I think right now is last. He's last among starting third basemen in batting average. Why do we want to go out and get him?
He's had a nice
proven. Him?
He's a proven guy. He's just had he's had a really, really bad year. I mean, uncharacteristically bad year for him. And he's a notorious second half guy. He's a guy that he picks it up after the All-Star break. But yeah,
we got Willingham from Minnesota, who a couple years ago hit 30 home runs, I think when he was at Oakland. Maybe he did it last year with Minnesota. He's another guy. Where is he? What is he hitting right now? Is he going to be able to turn it around that quick?
You know what? He's your right hand bat off the bench. He's the guy that the other manager has to think about bringing in that left-hander. Late in the game. I don't consider Josh Willingham a starter anymore. I think he's a role player that's going to face that left-hander. On some spot starts, and he's going to be a hammer off the bench. Because I can tell you, managers know about that. I talked to Clint Hurdle in spring training about it, and he goes, yeah, there's certain teams where they make you think twice by who they have on that bench. And to me, that's that's one of those. He's one of those guys that he's a difference maker when you have him, not in the lineup.
When those matchups come into play. Another big name I saw out there today, and Toronto's thinking about going after Alfonso Soriano. I think that would be a great fit.
Well, you know what? I don't know how much.
As you said, as a guy coming off the bench, he can hit the ball out.
Yeah, with them missing, I don't know how long is Encarnacion? How long is he out?
I haven't heard much of a timetable on him, but their other first baseman, Adam Lynn, didn't he get hurt too? Am I mistaken? He just got hurt too. So it's a perfect guy that Soriano's not going to play first base, but he can at least DH if Encarnacion comes back or Lynn comes back first. One of those two guys come back. He's a right-handed guy off the bench instead of a lefty.
You can put Jose Batista at first base. I mean, this guy's talented enough to play third in the outfield. He'd be fine at first base. You go ahead and put Soriano in the outfield. That would be fine. So that to me, hey, yeah, it's. You got to replace a bat.
And last guy on the list that I'm looking at that's available, but I cannot see anybody going after Dan Uggla.
Why?
I mean,
it's just a guy that he doesn't give you enough quality at bats. This is a guy that has to play every day to hit you 30 home runs, but he's going to punch out 200 times. He's going to go give you your 1 for 4, 1 for 5 with a homer and 3 punch outs. And that's if he's playing every day.
Yeah, if he's playing every day.
Right, and if he's not playing every day, you're just throwing a guy up there that has never been a pinch hitter. It's not the easiest role. As a veteran guy, he may take to it great, but I tell you one thing, attitude-wise, what's going to make what's going to say that he's going to be happier somewhere else than on the bench than he is in Atlanta?
Yeah, that's the one thing we don't know is I don't know anybody on Atlanta that I could ask. What is this guy's attitude? What's he been like since he's been benched? That would tell a lot about him, But I'm like this too. They got rid of Uggla. They should get rid of B.J. Upton at the same exact time. Now, if they're going to clean house like this, get rid of B.J. too. Get another guy up there and let the Braves try and better themselves.
No argument here.
No.
None whatsoever. And that's, I don't know B.J. Upton. Is he one of those guys that? Is he a contributor off the field? I don't know.
He's not a bad kid. He's a stubborn kid on the baseball field. He's not like a bad person. Neither one of them are bad people. He's a good kid. I mean, defensively, there's not many better. but he's stubborn offensively, and he's the type of player that shakes his head yes, but he's going to continue to do it his way. I mean, when he put the glasses on this year and tried to make himself, I mean, I was shocked. From what I saw when he was in Rays camp, I was shocked that he would even go that far.
Gotcha.
All right, we're going to go to a break here. You're listening to the Clubhouse Show. We are going to send it over to the Meatball. He's going to talk about his fantasy league predictions. And I think when we come back, we might just have a special guest ready to join us on the show. We'll be right back after this update from the Meatball.
All right, guys, let's take a look at the fantasy league picks that I had. Last week, I took a couple of guys, and I got some shit from Spanky for it. I said you either want to go Darvish or Kershaw in the pitching because there wasn't just really much of anything really going on. Darvish had a really crappy outing. He was roughed up but versus the Astros. He allowed 6 runs, 10 hits during 6 innings. He did strike out 8 and got you a couple of points, but he took the losses. The Rangers continue to free fall down the standings. Kershaw, on the other hand, took them out on Thursday versus the Padres, While Kershaw saw a scoreless streak ended 41, he did throw a complete game 3-hitter, 1 earned run, and 11 strikeouts. So not a bad pick. 1 for 2 there. Not terrible. Ryan Zimmerman was my hitter I took. Zimmerman had a nice last 10 days. He had 455 with a homer and 8 RBIs. This week, the week before the All-Star break, he was 275 with a homer and 5 RBIs. So he wasn't a very bad play. He actually hit another home run today. So Ryan Zimmerman kind of had a couple of decent weeks for me whenever I took him on my fantasy team. This week's picture it's a really obvious choice. He gets 2 outings, and it's Adam Wainwright. He gets favorable matchups. He has the Cardinals versus the Rays and versus the Cubs. Both teams struggle to find any consistency on offense. The Cubs strike out a ton. Wainwright's also looking maybe quiet a couple of his critics after he made some comments about grooving some pitches to Derek Jeter in his All-Star start when he struggled. My hitter of the week, I took Paul Goldschmidt. He's raking right now. He's hitting 400, couple homers, 7 RBIs in the last 10 games. He gets Detroit and Houston pitching this week. It's not a huge track record versus either one of them, but right now he is actually hitting the baseball a ton. So this week's team, I'm going to go through Adam Wainwright. We took him as a pitcher. My catcher, Yan Gomes of the Cleveland Indians. He's been on fire since coming back from the All-Star break. He does have 1 homer and 3 RBIs. He was hitting 545 in 3 games. He faces some familiar faces this week in all division matchups versus KC and Minnesota. First base, I took Goldschmidt. At second, I'm going to go with a home run derby guy from the Minnesota Twins, Brian Dozier. He's feeling no effects from the derby on his swing. He's hitting 308, 2 homers and 4 RBIs and 4 runs since the break. Look for him to carry the Twins offense with Joe Mauer on the disabled list. Third base, Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval has absolutely come out of the break mashing. 615 average, has a homer and 3 RBIs. He also has some decent power numbers versus both opponents this week. Gets the Dodgers and the Phillies. Ian Desmond at shortstop. His average is only 250 since the break, but he does have 4 RBIs, and not many shortstops have really had any kind of numbers since the break was over. He will benefit this week. He gets to play in Colorado, and he gets to go to the Great American Ballpark. Not that big of a park. He should have some nice numbers as the Washington Nationals are starting to get hot offensively. Also from the Nationals, my outfielder, I'm going Jason Worth. Their offense is clicking right now, and Worth is a part of it all. He had a homer, 4 RBIs this weekend, and hit 500. He's also going to benefit from the short fields and cores and Great American Ballpark. In the outfield, I'm going to go Matt Holliday. Holliday is a typical second-half hitter. He started off the break hot, hitting 333 as a homer and 5 RBIs, as the Cardinals have moved into a first-place tie with the Brewers. And finally, for my other outfielder, I'm going to go Jason Hayward. Hayward has hit 364 since the break and has a homer and 3 RBIs, 4 runs. Atlanta's going to face Miami this week, and Hayward is a career 326 hitter versus the Marlins. That's a look at my fantasy team. As always, you can check it out at Mr. Meatball Says, at my Clubhouse Show, at Spanky Catches, at Dave LaPointe. Stay with us. I think Jason Grilly's going to be on the phone in a second, and love to hear what you guys have to say. Fellas?
Welcome back to the Clubhouse Show. Dave LaPointe, Mike LaValliere, Chris Stansberry, the Meatball, a cast of 1,000 drunks over at the bar eating pizza, having a good old time over there. We are 88 miles per hour. Your ass is itchy. Somebody's lying in here, I'll tell you that much right now. We're coming to you live from Doc's Grill at Summerfield Crossings Golf Course. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest ready to join us. And it seems like we've been a bad luck charm, Spanky. First time we tried to get him on, he was traded. The second time we tried to get him on, they traded for Houston Street. So maybe, I'm not sure he wants to talk to us, but I'm going to let you welcome in our next guest, and I'm going to turn it over to you right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with us, the grilled cheese. Grilled cheese, what's happening from California?
Good, man.
Well, geez, one thing I got to say, Pittsburgh's going to miss you. I'm going to miss you in spring training. Tell Soch that I'm available in case you need some TLC over there. But getting on that, a bunch has happened this year. Lots of good things. Maybe some things that didn't work as well for you. Coming off of last year, an All-Star, an appearance. This year, again, going over to the Angels. Let's start with, tell us a little bit about the meeting at Chicago O'Hare Airport with Ernesto Frieri. Give us a little rundown on that.
Well, yeah, pretty big airport, and, the world seems to be small, and the baseball world's even smaller, and then when you get into a bathroom with the guy that you're traded for, and come to find out, you find out that everything seems to be close-knit when it comes to even being traded for the guy you're and happen to meet him in the bathroom of all places.
All right,
I didn't shake his hand, though, because he was busy doing his thing, and I was washing my hands, so I just say, hey, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
wish him luck.
Hey, I was just going to ask, you guys weren't like dueling swords, at the urinal, were you? You weren't
we were not crossing the streams. No.
Okay, cool.
I thought in the National League East, Dave LaPointe here, Jason. I thought in the National League East they taught you not to piss on your hands.
If it meant good luck, I'd be peeing on them all the time.
I guess it worked for Moises Alou, so I guess we could all try it.
All right, Cheese. Going through this year, and again, thank you for coming on. You've been with 7 teams. Obviously things were great in Pittsburgh. Give us a little rundown with the Angels. What's going on? How's the transition going? How about a little grilled cheese update?
All right. Well, yeah, it definitely was a shocker. To be traded after what I've done in that organization, but this is a baseball business and not a people business, as you guys well know. Sometimes, for whatever reason, I thought I had a little bit longer of a leash given the body of work that I've done for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but they're entitled to make the change, and I welcome it. I got a chance to play deep into the postseason with a very good team. And very excited about that. Again, my role, I think we got 4 closers over here, so we're pretty deep when it comes to that. And I'm now pitching in the 6th and 7th inning at times. So, I'm just taking the ball like I always have, and I know my opportunity will come again, and I'll fight for that because that's just what I do. But like I said, I have nothing to be ashamed of. Even over the All-Star break, the people in Pittsburgh that saw me and my wife throughout the city, I went back to see them and spend some time, and the love will probably never die. Those are some of the most passionate, loyal fans that I've ever played for, and just the love that was shed on us was incredible. So I'll never forget that, and I'm always thankful and grateful for that experience. But like I said, I've also been welcomed out here in LA, which these fans get behind their team to win, and we've got an exciting ball club and an exciting pennant race over here too. So it's kind of a win-win situation. The only downside, I think, is just the 3-hour time difference. I'm used to East Coast time, so I'm trying to still adjust to that.
All righty. Hey, Jace, okay, you know what? I've been traded. Pointer's been traded. You've been traded. You go over a lot of these things, and I think it's it's important. You came out with your book, Just My Game, and you talk about some of the let's call it the underbelly of what takes place. And I read a few excerpts, and you know what? It's a very personal book. Tell us a little bit about Just My Game.
Yeah, it was never really intended to be a book, to be honest with you. I basically was writing some of my personal experience when I thought my career was over, when I ripped my knee off in 2010, and I just wanted to try to remember some good stories, which some of them are not in the book. I had to withhold a lot of things that are near and dear and personal. I just share those with my boys, of which, my log of good memories and bad memories are there. But after the experience and the gravel road I took to get to being a closer and finally making an all-star team and the pinnacle of my career. I was encouraged by so many friends and peers and Aaron Andrews and reporters and everybody just like, you need to write a book. And I was like, well, it's kind of funny. I just turned over my personal journal from a friend who just so happens to be in the publishing business, and I said, well, I'm reluctant for you to read my personal stuff here. If you can kind of keep that at bay, we'll see where we go from there. And he goes, I couldn't put it down when I started reading it. And I said, well, no shit, because it's my freaking personal journal, But I'm just glad it came out successful. If it inspires some young kid out there, or just even another guy, to never give up. That's basically the gist of the story, is that I never gave up. I always was betting on me to just say, and fortunately I got a great opportunity. Hurdle and the Pirates gave me a great opportunity to close, and I took the ball and ran with it, and I had some success doing it, and I love that. I love being in that position.
Cool. Hey, your dad, bloodlines are good, former pitcher. How much influence did your dad have on your childhood? Going through the signing process through the minor leagues. Tell us a little bit about your relationship.
Yeah, my dad and I have always been tight. He was the best man at my wedding, and not only, like I said, I think everybody equates that my dad played and I came from that bloodline, and of course I just wanted to be like my dad. I had a good one. I just happened to be a professional athlete as well. So he taught me a lot, advised me on a lot, and definitely had an advantage going all the way through to have my own personal coach to know what it takes. And he took the gravel road himself. He was a non-drafted free agent, signed for a Snickers bar for his contract, and a chance to get in the pro ranks, and he made the best of it too. So I guess we parallel, even though our careers went different ways. We parallel each other in a lot of ways as well, and to this day we just still have a tight relationship. We talk about the game, and whether it's a text or a phone call, we're in constant communication.
Well, all right. Hey, Jay, Dave LaPointe here. You should get on reference.com, because they've got Steve Gurley listed here at 6'2", 170. Now, how close are we to that mark right now?
Yeah, I try to stay on my dad the older he gets, instead of eating the Fig Newtons, eat some yogurt and fruit at late at night. But I want to keep him around as long as possible. But yeah, he was a thin guy as well as I was. I was 158, 160 pounds soaking wet in high school, about 6'2", too. So I realized my Ralph Macchio body type didn't really warrant, collecting all the girls' phone numbers,
Hey, mine and Spanky's wet underwear weighs 158 pounds, so
he's seen mine in spring training. He knows.
We've never been there. You know what? Being with the Cardinals as long as I was, your dad was a scout for the Cardinals, and used to have to chart pitches every once in a while, sit up there next to him, and you could see the pride in him, and he couldn't wait to talk about you coming up through the ranks, and knew you were going to be something someday. And that's every ball player's dream, is just to make his dad proud. And it's a great thing that you're able to share what you're going through together, and make him proud of you, and make you the man that you are today.
Well, thanks. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, hopefully, I don't know whether my kids, I got two boys of my own, and whether they want to be a great, baseball, take on the lineage of the baseball family, if they want to be the greatest piano player or guitar player or whatever else. I want them to want to do it, not because I did. My dad never pushed me. Just a love and a talent that I recognized early, and I just said, well, I got a good teacher, so let's see how far we can take it. And I just hope the same for them.
Well, Jason, this is the meatball here. I'm buddies with these guys and being on the show, and I have no baseball ability whatsoever. But I do have a quick question for you. Within a year, you've had the absolute pleasure of playing with maybe the two best center fielders in a long time in baseball. Can you give us an idea what the similarities, differences between Andrew McCutchen and Mike Trout?
Yeah. I mean, I'll speak Mike Trout here just because I'm in California. This kid is as good as advertised, better than I even recognize. But to see him do what he does on an everyday basis, he's just getting started, and he's already accomplished so much. I mean, guys play their whole career to try to do what he's done in the few years he's played, and he's so young and promising. So it's obviously amazing to see that day in and day out and play the game hard. And I guess the parallel too is, nothing to take away again from my old ex-teammate. He plays just as hard and does some magical things out there. So I am definitely honored and blessed and humbled to say that I've played with some of the greats that take on center field in each league respectively. So either way you go, whoever's playing center field for you, I don't think you can go wrong.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, Cheese. All right, now here we go. I got quick 6 for you, okay? Putting you on the hot seat. This is Spanky's hot seat, okay? So it doesn't have to be politically correct, okay? You don't have, hey, you know what? Just let it fly. I want you to shoot from the hip. I know you're that kind of guy, okay? But I'm just going to go ahead and give you 6, let's say, favorites. Favorite manager.
Favorite manager would have to be Hurdle, man, so far.
Yeah, and why I asked that, 7 teams, you get your chance to see a few of them. But, I tell you one, Clint's great. All right, favorite catcher to throw to?
Ooh, Russ Martin by far. He's just been incredible behind the dish. Just the way he's made some of my balls turn into strikes magically. Great receiver.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. All right, now, besides Pearl Jam, favorite band?
Black Crowes.
Black Crowes, nice. Favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant? Anything Italian you can't miss. It's got to be a couple of ones you recommended to me, but yeah, I go Italian if I can.
All right, favorite city on the road?
Chicago.
Why?
Because the Italian restaurant.
I love it. All right, and this is probably a tough one here because I got a bunch of tied for first. Okay, favorite teammate.
Favorite teammate. Holy jeez! And you got that question after I'm playing for 7 different teams.
Yeah, you know what?
Oh,
is there one guy that he's your guy? He's the guy that is he's got your back. He's the guy that if I'm gonna get in touch with somebody, this is who I'm gonna be in touch with. He's the guy that if I hadn't seen him in 10 years, I'm gonna come up in the alumni golf tournament, and we're gonna pick up right from there. Do you have that guy?
Shoot, man, I got quite a few of them. Sean Casey's a good buddy of mine in baseball. Probably one of the nicest guys ever. That's why they nicknamed him the Mayor. So yeah, I'd have to say Sean Casey.
Very nice, very nice.
You know what? You got to have. We get on Sean Casey on the show here, Jace, and he's got to quit repeating what the guy in front of. We want to hear original Sean Casey stories. We don't want him to repeat what Harold Reynolds just said. We want to hear his stories.
You want to see the original? Yeah, the original, right? Get on him. Now you're giving me some good stuff to get on him about. I love having the upper edge on Case because when you have a beer with him, it's always good to one up him.
I guarantee you, if you tell the mayor that Spanky and Pointer are on his ass, he'll go ahead and he'll fix it. If he doesn't, he'll die trying.
My other suggestion with the mayor would be to quit doing these little segments where he's taking his shirt off. Because as we all know, 2 or 3 years after we get out of the show, it don't look the same. Hey, I've got a good connection out there. You have a strength and conditioning guy out there named T.J. Harrington. T.J. Harrington used to sit in a room when I used to work out before the season started. He might have been in a car seat, and he ended up going through and played high school baseball, and ended up being the strength and conditioning guy for the Angels. And I got a story about him. If you want to ever rag on him, one time he had to stop playing high school baseball because they couldn't find a helmet big enough for the melon.
That's true. He does have that football.
And his head goes north and south. He's like that cartoon, the guy that looks like he's got the football head. But
he's got a big brain,
Well, yeah,
they so do elephants, and they're not that smart. So I don't know. I'm trying to still figure that one out.
Yeah, if you take a measure of that head, I think it's about 8.5 north south.
Funny you say that because I haven't. I'm just starting to get to know these people and see who I can really give the jab to. The new guy can't just come in and start, start picking away. But yeah, I've yet to ask him what size head he is, and
Well,
now that you just did that, I might have to go there.
if you tell him that you were on the horn last night with Dave LaPointe, he will probably run from you, but he will start laughing.
Consider it done.
All right, hey, Cheese. All right. I've been meaning to ask you this, like for a long time here. Okay, you were on stage during the off season. Who you're on there with?
If I'm on stage?
Yeah, concert.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, Pearl Jam gave me the best experience of my life. You kidding me? That was an epic night.
Okay, so now I want to ask. Okay, so you're on stage with Pearl Jam. Okay, you're pitching in the playoffs. Bigger Rush. Come on now, be honest now. Be honest.
Well, I guess it's two different things, you know, because when you're doing something at your element, which getting on stage in front of a crowd, as opposed to, I mean, the people are right on top of you, the speakers are on top of you. It was a different rush. I was nervous because I've never done that. That was like my big league debut, getting on stage. Every athlete wants to be a rock star, and every rock star wants to be an athlete. So I got to do both and experience both. But there's no doubt, because you can't do it as long, I might have another chance to be a rock star because I got a long life to live. But I'd much rather, I got a few more years here to try to take a shot at the championship and a World Series title. So I'm gonna go with that for sure.
Well, Grilled Cheese, we know that next year you are a free agent. We're not going to ask you where you're going to go. But the one thing I do know is I enjoyed you in spring training. You know, I think you're a real guy. I like what you bring to the clubhouse. I'd love to see you go out to the mound. And I think whoever is going to get you next year, I think they're going to be happy. Is there going to be a next year? Tell us that.
I plan on it. I'm trying to get to that benchmark 10-year career. I got 2 more after this year to reach that pinnacle. And you know, it'll be nice to have choices. Obviously, the family decision will be involved because I got 2 boys and a wife that I miss dearly, and would want them to be around as much as possible. And you know, that's what might play into the choice. And the other choice, you know, variable always is the best situation. You know, and money doesn't hurt either. So there's a lot of things to consider, but it's always a blessing. And right now, my focus is to help the team and have this feather in the cap, because everybody wants a winner when you are a free agent and what you can bring to the table. And if it's some veteran leadership, and like I said, I'm still throwing in the mid-90s, so I don't think that hurts my cause either.
Well, Jason Grilli, you know, I wish you the best, pal, and I will be missing you in spring training somehow, some way. I hope our paths cross again. I think you're a great asset to, you know, whatever team that you end up going to. The best to your family, and thank you so much for sharing your time, and hope you just kick some ass. And, hell, if I don't see you on the mound, I want to see you on stage. Good luck, dude.
No doubt. Or a good restaurant. We got some vino to crush, too.
Very nice, very nice. All right, Jace, thanks.
Hey, thanks, guys.
All right, we want to thank Jason Grilli and taking time out from his busy day. And you know, and when you're in the big leagues, Mickey, you remember this when Sunday night came, because there never used to be Sunday night games. When Sunday night came after the whole week and you finally had a day game, Sunday night was yours.
Exactly.
You and the wife would go out to dinner, or you know, you'd find a cozy little bar down the street and just shut the rest of the world off. And for these guys to come on, you know, especially him, after, you know, they had a great game today that they won with a walk-off. You know, for him to come on, you know, it shows what a great guy that he is, and we appreciate you getting in contact with him and putting him on the show.
Yeah, it's fun stuff, and you know, we just got a little glimpse of Jason and I've spent the last 2 springs with him. I don't know whether it was his luck or unluck. First year they put him kind of right next to me, and you know, he didn't know me from Adam. And then after like the first couple of days, he goes, you know, you old guys, you guys know how to have fun. And I'm going, yeah. Well, guess what? You're not that young either. So hey, hop on, pal. We're gonna both learn here.
You know, imagine that. I did the Legends Camp last week, and of course I'm the guy with the shtick. I'm not brought back because of my talent. I get brought back because I'm pretty good at ripping the clubhouse and rag on people. And it was at 2 minutes. I forgot what I might have called the person, somewhere in the Dice Clay regime, I might have said some things. And Jim, center fielder, Jim Edmonds, looks at me and he goes, "Oh my God, old school! I love it." And I was ripping people left and right, and it relaxes those guys.
Oh yeah.
Because they've been around through coaches, but as normal players, they don't do it.
I'm in spring training, first year, and I hardly know this guy. Well, Dean Traynor, he's the AAA manager with the Pirates in Indianapolis, and
the husband of the volleyball star.
No,
isn't he?
Oh no.
That's the wrong one.
No, maybe he's the dad. No, this is an old guy. Old guy. Put it this way: older than me is old. Okay.
Yeah.
So Dean, pretty much old school hard ass. I mean, big time. I mean, just as hard as you can get, right? So we decided that we're going to have a little fun, and he and I start screaming at each other in the locker room during spring training, and I'm watching. Okay, as I'm screaming, "You little son of a bitch! I'm going to kick your ass!" All this kind of stuff. You grumpy old bastard! Why don't you? Yeah, all these things, right? And I'm watching, and all these young guys are looking at us, and they're going, "Are they serious? Are they going to go at it?" And there's guys who are kind of thinking about, like, kind of getting in between us. And then after a while, we just started laughing, and we hugged, and, that kind of thing. But it was just like the guys had no idea that you could talk to your teammate like that. And it was kind of like we had a blast. And, that was kind of one of the running jokes. It was just, kind of like, hey, what's Spanky and Dino going to be, fighting about now? And, in fact, I went to the point where after all this kind of fooling around, me being a little prankster that I am, I had Jim Tredinich, okay? I guess he does all the PR stuff, the media relations guy.
Please say his nickname is Turd.
No.
Damn.
No. So anyway, Jimmy T, brother love, okay? He sets up a press release that I was just named as one of the coaches on Dean Traynor's staff in AAA. And it comes along, where, in my locker there's something to, for an apartment, to where, I've got to fill this in for the apartment.
Uh-huh.
And then, I go up to Dean. I says, hey, you know what? Good luck at bad luck. I don't know, but you know what? I guess I'm going to be with you this year. And I says, what about cars and, stuff like that? I see there's an application for this apartment. Is this the place to live? And blah, blah, blah. And Dean, I mean, he goes to the point where he goes all the way to the top. And he's asking everybody. And everybody's in on it. I said, yeah, we hired Spank. He's gonna coach with you. He's going to be the fourth coach. And Dean's beside himself. And just after it, I says, look, don't anybody ever even, let him in on it. Ever. And then, finally, he broke somebody down about 12 hours later, and he basically...
Was he for it or against it?
Oh, way against it.
Oh,
yeah. No, he didn't want nobody. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
So that argument was kind of real.
The
argument was real?
He was in a panic. He's like, what the hell am I going to do with this son of a bitch for a whole entire minor league season? Oh, my God. It scared the shit out of him.
Being the manager, he probably thought he had to feed you after the game.
In beer.
Well, that's no cheaper than a meal.
Well, Natty Light's pretty cheap.
Natty Lights. Nice.
I don't see light anything.
I'm gonna give you guys right now, I'm going to give you a lineup. What I think could win a lot of games in Major League Baseball, and you're going to tell me what they all have in common. Batting off, playing left field, Sin-Shu Chu. Second base, shortstop, Segura from Milwaukee. Third, first baseman, Chris Davis, Baltimore Orioles. Fourth, right field, George Springer, Houston Astros. Not a bad team so far, right?
No.
Fifth, third baseman, Pedro Alvarez, Pittsburgh Pirates. Sixth, DH, Jay Bruce, Cincinnati Reds. Seventh, Desmond Jennings, center field, Tampa Bay Rays. Eighth, Brian McCann, catcher of the New York Yankees. 9, what's his first name? Dozier from Minnesota.
Brian Dozier.
That's not a bad team, is it?
No.
You'd pay good money. You think that team would represent possibly a playoff team?
It could, but they strike out too much.
What do they have in common?
Is it 150 strikeouts each?
They are all in the bottom 3 of their positions in batting average in the major leagues.
Wow.
Of everyday players. Listen to those names. Chris Davis is hitting 204 for the Baltimore Orioles. He's playing in a phone booth. He hit 57 home runs last year, whatever the hell it was. He's hitting 204. How can one year you hit 57 home runs and the next year you can't hit 3 out of 10 fair?
Fluke? I don't know. Hey,
Which one?
Well, you know what?
Last year or this year, which one's the fluke?
Well, you know what? I don't think, Chris Davis, okay, yeah, I think he had an out-of-body experience, to hit that many home runs. Here's a guy that, didn't have any track record before that. It was just he kind of came on, and then he was gone. And we've seen that happen. Is it something tied to what? I don't know. I'm not going to even insinuate that perhaps he took the patch off the back of his nutsack. I'm not even going to say that, okay? He may have, he may not, okay? But there's certainly room to speculate. I know whenever I play, Brady Anderson.
How do you go ahead and break that? Hey, Chris, 1 second. Can I see the back of your nutsack for a second? Is there like a patch, like a tan line there?
Yeah. Are they shaved? You manscaped? Hey, look, that's a little too personal, but okay. So anyway, Brady Anderson, like I said, he hit 50, and then after that, I don't know if he hit 10. I mean, there are guys. I mean, it runs in cycles. I mean, you get some really good names there. Jay Bruce. What's going on with him? I think
Jay Bruce hitting 224.
Exactly.
In that place.
Yeah.
In Cincinnati.
And he's on my fantasy team.
And I also think, but he's leading the league in home runs against left-handed pitchers.
No, that's
he's got that stat going for him.
You look at that list though. A lot of those guys did a lot of things when they were first coming up, and like Spanky said, there's not a book on Brian Dozier a lot, and now that there is, Dozier started off hitting 400 for the first month of the season, and now he can't hit.
Aren't a lot of these guys, weren't they on the All-Star team last year?
They were on the All-Star team last year, but they were young.
Segura was for sure.
Segura's a young kid.
Dozier was in the home run derby
this year. Yeah. A lot of the guys just don't have the. Davis was dealt from Texas for a reason. They let him go and they kept Mitch Moreland. If that kind of lets you know. And
basically looking at their swing, I'd have done the same thing for that ballpark.
Yeah. They're young guys. It seems to me maybe it's a track record thing.
Spanky, I'm going to go back one more step. It is the ability for hitting coaches to teach. They are no longer allowed to teach the way they were used to be able to, and it's harming baseball because once these guys get in a funk, they can't get out of it.
Well, I tell you this, I think there's too much information out there. I talked to a couple guys, Jimmy Morrison, Bruce Keeson. Jimmy's a rookie ball manager, in A-ball for the Rays. He was in the Florida State League for a while. Bruce Keeson is the super scout for the Baltimore Orioles. And what's going on is, these guys get in the video room, they analyze their swings so much that they get to the point where I got to believe that it's paralysis by analysis. They are just not able to perform because they're thinking too much. Hey, you know what? We got to go back out to, see it and hit it. See it out of the hand and hit it. Take your best swing at it. Be aggressive. Swing hard in case you hit it. Whatever it is. Know your situations. Know your situations. Know when you got to get the ball in play. Stop punching out. I mean, guy, you know what? And the thing is, a lot of these coaches, will not confront the players. They like their jobs. They like their money. They're not going to go to these guys and say, hey, you can't do that anymore.
That's what's wrong with baseball today. Hey, we want to thank you all for another wonderful show on the Clubhouse Show. My thanks to Mike LaValle, Chris Stansbury, Fernando, Julio, all the people here at Summerfield Crossing Golf Course. Love it when you come to listen to us, come to watch us. We'll be back again next week. This is Dave LaPointe signing off from the Clubhouse Show.